Welcome to the One Verse Devotional Podcast. My name is Matt McCarrick, and my goal is to help you grow closer to God through one verse every day. Now let's dive in. Hello again, welcome to One Verse. My name is Matt. I'm glad that you're with me today, and we are back in the book of 1 John. Yesterday we were in the first chapter, but now flip a few pages over. Not really, you're listening to a podcast, you're probably driving, but I flipped a few pages over, and we're in 1 John chapter 4, and if there is, you might have heard of the love chapter, which is usually referred to for 1 Corinthians chapter 13, a very familiar chapter about love, one that's used in weddings. But if there was a love book, a book of love in the Bible, it would be 1 John. Really, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John deal with it a lot, but specifically 1 John, he just goes into love and tells us about love and how God is love, and just the whole book is really about love. And so I love it. No pun there. Because I've dedicated my life, I feel, as I've gotten more and more passionate about this phrase, love first. And we'll talk about that in a second, but it feeds again into our one verse for today. It's 1 John chapter 4, verse 20, and it says, "Whoever claims to love God, yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister, whom they have seen, cannot love God, whom they have not seen." This is a strong verse, and one that at first that it's like, well, wait a second, that you mean if I don't love a brother or sister, I can't love God? That's pretty strong words, but John takes this very seriously, and he says you can't hate someone and love God. I think this is an important verse because I know people are listening to this from all over the world, but especially if you are in America right now, and really this goes for the world, but we've seen it so much in America that there seems to be this growing sense of hate. You know, racism has gotten worse recently, or at least been uncovered more recently, and it's come to the forefront. We see all this hate in our world, and it makes me think of this verse. And it says, hey, you can't hate a brother or sister, because sadly, a lot of the people who hold these convictions also claim to be Christians. They also claim to be followers of Jesus, that they love God and yet hate a brother. And it's like, hey, you realize you can't do that, right? Now let's put that into a different context. If I had a best friend, and maybe we grew up together, maybe we cared about each other, we've gone to bat for each other, we would do anything for each other, but he comes to me one day and he's like, hey, I gotta tell you, I hate your kid. I hate your son. I hate your daughter. I gotta tell you, that would ruin the friendship, right? He can't come to me and say, I hate your son or daughter, and yet I really love you, man. Like, that wouldn't work. And yet that's what we're doing with God. We're saying, no. I hate some of your children, but no, God, I love you. And God's like, nope, sorry. Can't have it that way. Those are your brothers and sisters. You might not agree with them. They might frustrate you, but you have to love them. Once again, this comes down to this idea of loving first. Yeah, there might be some differences. There might be some frustration. We might even have arguments or differences of opinion or whatever it is. But love first. Show love first. And then all that other stuff can happen out of relationship. Because this verse makes it clear that if you're going to be serious about loving God, then you have to be serious about loving His children and loving our brothers and sisters. Have a great day.